So, at the beginning of Jesus' life, a light entered the world. When we go to celebrate Christmas, we light the Advent candles, right? We go through all of the circular candles, and in our tradition at least, we also light the Christ candle, which is the one in the middle. And we light that usually on Christmas Eve, sometimes Christmas, depending on the church. But it represents Christ entering the world. The light, right? So, as we move into Easter season, next week we're going to be celebrating Holy Week. We've got Palm Sunday, Maundy Thursday, Good Friday, Holy Saturday, which we're not doing anything explicitly for, and Easter. So I want to talk a little bit about one of the things that I've done in the Good Friday service the past few years, and I haven't really probably explained all that well. So you've probably noticed the candles, they're a pretty focal point of that service. And they're kind of like a reverse Advent candle. If you've been to that service, there's 5 candles plus 1 candle that's in a small circular, like orb-shaped holder or votive. And as we go through the service, we start out with all the candles lit. It's the exact opposite of an Advent candle. And as we go through the service, we blow them out instead of lighting them. And it all happens within a service. So this is actually not something necessarily from Church of God tradition. It's, I believe, more popular in the Methodist tradition. I might get corrected on that, but that's where I pulled the idea from, is the Methodist websites. And it's called a Tenebrae service. So a Tenebrae service is basically a passion service. The Tenebrae candles, in some churches, they light them at the beginning of Lent, and it's like our Advent candles every week. They blow one out. Or there could be like a Tenebrae service, where with each stage of the service, more candles get blown out until the final one is blown out, and then everybody exits. Candles are such a cool way to symbolize our faith. There's lots of different reasons why Christians like candles. I know in our kind of what's called low church, less liturgical tradition, we don't use candles quite as often as like high church or very liturgical churches like Episcopals or Catholics or that kind of thing. But they're used to symbolize so many things. And there's something that's just mesmerizing about them, right? They just cast this glow. You could just sit there and watch it. Sometimes I'm sitting in service and I zone off while pastor's preaching. Sorry, pastor. I'm sitting there just watching that little flame just dance. I know I'm sitting pretty close to it, but it's there's something mesmerizing about fire and about light, right? We're just drawn to it. Candles are often lit in the church to symbolize hope, to symbolize the virtues of Christ being brought to the world. And like, you look at how the Catholics do it, they light them in prayer. They light them as a symbol of hope that their prayer will be fulfilled. And not just the Catholics, there's lots of others that do that too, but they're the most popular or most famous ones for doing that. They light them for protection or during prayer or in honor of somebody. They're something that symbolizes good. So as we go into this next Holy Week, I'm not going to have the candles up for Palm Sunday, and we don't have an in-person service for Maundy Thursday, otherwise I'd have them all up. But for Good Friday, you'll get to see them all go down the line, slowly getting blown out, one by one by one. And we'll go through the Good Friday service, and I want you to remember as we go through that service, that symbolizes like that hope leaving. The people that were standing at the foot of the cross didn't fully understand what was happening. To them, their hope was leaving. Up until the last moment, some of them expected Jesus to just jump right down off that cross and become a more literal king over the world. They didn't understand what it meant to destroy the temple and rebuild it in 3 days. So, as we go through the Good Friday service, we'll get a concept of we're blowing out the hope. By the time you get to the end of that service, that last candle is carried out the back doors and blown out. And it's left unresolved. Rarely do we leave services with that state of unresolved waiting. I think it's really important that we remember that this week, because that 3 days of waiting was probably unbearably difficult for his followers. They were left wondering, what do we do now? Some of them were running for their lives because they were in fear of this happening to them too. It's pretty crazy to imagine what they'd be feeling. And I want you guys to imagine that as we go into that period, that Holy Saturday waiting day. It makes Sunday all that more special when we start off with that sunrise service and that beautiful spring morning. I'm sorry I won't be there. 7 a.m. is not my jive, although I'd probably be at the church at 7 a.m. getting things ready here. But being there, oh man, Pastor Moose can have that. I'll take Good Friday. We got it. But I really look forward to seeing you guys as we celebrate this season. And I hope you remember this.